Fasten your seatbelts, hold on tight. You're in for one crazy ride tonight on the Josh Nolan Full Throttle Racing Show. #1 on Facebook.
Fasten your...
Okay, record. Okay, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, fasten your seatbelts, hold on tight. You're in for one incredibly awesome, amazing ride tonight on the Josh Nolan Full Throttle Racing Show. #1 on YouTube. Tonight we have with us Buddy Ray Jones. Welcome to the show, buddy.
Hey, thanks for having me, Josh.
So, buddy, let's talk about your racing career. How did it all start for you?
It's kind of a long, but I'll try to make it short. So back when I was a kid, 10, 12 years old or so, my family had moved to Eagle, Nebraska, and we heard this like really thunderous roar. We didn't know what it was. My dad and I were kind of, we're driving all over this small town, and we went to a gas station, and 2 miles away was Eagle Raceway. So we asked the folks there at the gas station, hey, what's this thunderous roar we're hearing? They're so used to this sound, they don't even notice it anymore.
Yeah.
They're like, well, what sound are you talking about? And all of a sudden it'd be a little bit of silence, and then you'd hear the sound of the car running. And Eagle Raceway is only 2 miles east of Eagle, so it's loud.
Yeah.
And that, we're talking 86, 87, 88 back when we would have 200 cars at a weekly show.
Oh, yeah.
And they ran a car on Friday, IMCA on Saturdays. So I can't remember which day it was, but we're like, oh, that's Eagle Raceway. So we're like, hey, what the heck? Let's go check it out. So we went to Eagle Raceway, and I fell in love with everything. I mean, we walked through the gates, and I saw these cars, and my dad, his whole family came from stock car driving, but it wasn't until I was 11, 12 years of age that I didn't get to experience any of it. Well, then when we went to Eagle, there was this really bright, and I mean bright, number 16 pink late model. And it was Tom Svoboda out of David City, Nebraska. And honestly, not to be politically incorrect, but I thought he was gay driving a pink late model. And I was like, man, Dad, this guy's really driving a pink late model. And man, Tom put a whooping on everybody on the track. I watched him lap the cars, and then they were announcing that you could go in the pits. So I wanted to go see this Tom Svoboda. And I went down there, and I tell a lot of the new drivers today, don't ever pass up an opportunity to meet a young fan, because if it wasn't for Tom Svoboda and that pink late model, I may not be racing today, because when I walked up, that guy was probably, to me at the time, about as important as Jesus Christ himself. This guy's got fans all over the car, around the car. He's talking to them. He's signing autographs. I'm thinking this is the Eagle, Nebraska's version of Bill Elliott, Dale Earnhardt, Richard Petty, all wrapped up into one. And I was like, I want to be that guy. I want to be the next Tom Svoboda. And so then I remember Tom, I can't remember if it was the first night I met him or it was somewhere in that season. I remember he let me sit in his car, told me not to touch no buttons. I didn't. And then he just talked to me, hey, where do you go to school? What grade you in? Stuff like that. And he really connected to me. Well, then I remember back then, a lot of us kids, a lot of the tracks nowadays don't have the souvenir programs. We would collect those, and it was kind of an unspoken club. And all of us kids would run around the pits with these souvenir programs bragging about, well, I got this guy's autograph. Well, I got this guy's autograph. And, it was.
Oh, man, somebody done sent me a text message.
You probably heard that, didn't you?
Yeah.
Sorry. So, but we, anyways, we were running around getting all these autographs. And lo and behold, I just wanted to be more and more like the drivers, and we never looked back. My dad and I got to meeting a lot of the drivers, got to know a lot of the drivers. And I ended up becoming friends with guys like Scott Carlson, Dennis Cook, John Kinney Jr., John Kinney Sr., Sugar Bear out of the Sunset Speedway days. I looked up to all these guys. They were just bigger than life. And I've always been a pretty sociable person, always kind of like being in the spotlight a little bit, maybe being a little bit of an entertainer. And these guys were doing that and living that. And so I wanted to be that. And here we are, you know, all these years later. I'll be 47 in April, and here we are still doing it.
Okay. So when you first got into your race car and started racing, did you have a lot of success out of the gate, buddy? Or
No. I can't remember what magazine it was in, or if it was in one of these weekly racing programs, but they said, get a race car. It'll be a humbling experience. It was a humbling experience. I remember the very first night that I raced, it was my graduation at high school. I had a choice, either walk down the aisle, get my diploma, or I can go make money driving a race car. Well, being really ignorant and naive at age 18, I'm thinking we can just drop a few $100 into this race car and I can make money. That wasn't the case. I remember the very first night, I'm living the dream. My car's revving up. I'm sounding great. Man, I've arrived. I've hit the scene. And then here comes Joe Kaziski in his number 53 late model. He comes across the nose of my Friday Night Flyer at Eagle Raceway. And I was so scared to death. I flattened the right side, the entire body panel, or the right side of the body on this old 76 Pontiac Grand Prix that I raced. And I went in the pits, and my dad was smoking a cigarette, and he's like, well, how'd you feel, son? I'm like, who in the world just passed me in a late model? And back then we hot lapped everything together.
yeah.
This was during hot laps. There was no, okay, this class go out. We just all went. And I was so scared to death. And then I was so naive, and this would have been 1994. There was no success at all. When I finished top 25 in points, and there was 50, 60 some drivers, you know, in the point standings that year in the Friday Night Flyers at Eagle, I thought, oh, you know, just like NASCAR, I'm a top 25 guy in the season points. And now looking back, I'm like, that really didn't mean nothing.
No.
It was humbling. I didn't really start coming into my prime, to be honest with you, till 2011 or so. So it took a number of years to get there. But I actually wouldn't ever look back. And it's funny because a lot of people, you know, ask that question, did you have a lot of success? No, I would rather come from a humbling beginning, starting with nothing and not having much, and getting to where I am now versus just being successful right out of the gate, because I've gotten to the point where everything that I've done and accomplished has a little bit more meaning because I know where I came from. I didn't have the big sponsors, the big checkbook. I wasn't winning races. I had to, you know, claw and dig and scratch and fight my way to get to where I am today. And I wouldn't trade that back, or I wouldn't trade that for anything.
Okay. So, buddy, you started gaining some success in 2011. How many races did you win in 2011?
A lot of B features.
A lot of B
A
features.
lot of B features. They called me B feature Bud.
Okay.
I would win, like every week I'd win a B feature, and then I'd have to start at the tail of the A. And in 2011, I think we finished 6th or 7th in points. That's the highest I've ever finished in points. I won 1 A feature. And that was 2011. Well, you fast forward to 2021, I won 2 this year. So the way I see it, I'm on pace to win an A feature about every 10 years, which is fine. I don't want to rush into anything.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. True. True. So, buddy, let's talk about your sponsors on your race car. Who do you have for sponsors on your race car?
Oh man, if it wasn't for my sponsors, I would not be racing. If you ever wanted to see a deal of, you know, these guys need their sponsors, don't look any farther than me. I mean, we've got Joe's Karting, They're huge out of Council Bluffs, Iowa. If it wasn't for them, like I said, all these guys, I wouldn't be on the track, but they're probably my biggest sponsor. Well, I know they are. We have Auto Value Parts Stores. We have New Steel Incorporated. We have Dynamic Drivelines. Mike Bennett, he's on the car. I've got quite a few folks. I got the Holiday Horsepower Drive, although that's the charity, not so much. It's pretty bad, and I can't remember all. Driven Race Gear, Tom Godfrey out of North Carolina.
Yeah.
So I remember him, and I know every name associated with said company. I just, for some reason, cannot remember. Oh, Joel Priest, JP3 Transmissions. I got the guys up at All Star Performance there in Watervliet, Michigan. Yeah, Blake Harris, Nick Curlin with KH Suspension. Man, they build some incredible shocks. Incredible shocks. They're out of North Carolina in Pueblo, Colorado. So if it wasn't for all these guys, I wouldn't be doing anything. Artworks Graphic, they design these beautiful wraps. Josh Blom. I've already told Josh I want to stay pretty much with the same look that I had this year. I want to try and recreate in 2022 what I did in 2021, but with the economy and in the state of things right now, I don't know how much racing we might get to do next year.
Yeah. So do you run a sport mod, right, buddy?
Yep.
Yep.
Right there. Full IMCA sport mod.
Okay. So what size motor do you guys run in the sport mods?
So for around here in IMCA and even our NASCAR dirt tracks, they mimic a lot of what IMCA does. But we're relegated to either using the 602 crate engine, which is just a 95 Chevy pickup motor. It's got a few minor tweaks, but nothing big by no means. Or we can use what we call the Claimer or the open motor, which is a 9-to-1 motor, 360 cubic inch. So we can either use that or we can use the crate. I use the crate. I'm not an engine builder. The last time I used an open motor, I think was 2008, and I blew 7 open motors in a row.
Oh.
And 7 nights of racing. All my dad and I got mad. We almost sold out. And then in 2009, my dad actually had a pretty good season with his taxes. And then we found a crate engine with a power glide over in eastern Iowa. So we went and bought that. And ever since 2009, I've been on a crate, never looked back.
Okay.
I think as long as you maintain your engine program with your crate, are they down on horsepower? Yeah. Are they down on torque? Sure. There's some tracks that they don't necessarily cater to an open motor, but an open motor works better at some of these tracks. I think at some of the tracks, the crate works better. The track that I run at, I think the open motor shines better than the crate. But for what I'm doing, you put the crate engine, the 602 in this mod, and I can focus other places on the car, and that's just one less thing out of my hair to deal with every week. So for me, I'm a crate guy through and through. Would I like to have the horsepower and open? Yeah, but I think I might be on the tail end of my racing. I've told my wife 2025 will be my last year racing. So I don't know if I want to go in the money for an open when I've already got 2 crates sitting here and I'm good to go.
Okay. So buddy, talking about your racing career and stuff like that, who is your favorite race car driver?
Ooh, everybody likes to say Tony Stewart, or not Tony, back, if you're 50, 60 years old, it's going to be Richard Petty. If you're 40 to 50 years old, it's going to be Dale Earnhardt. You go 30 to 40 years old, it's going to be your Jimmy Johnsons. It's a generational thing. For me personally, I would have to say growing up, Tony Stewart. That guy has won so much, and he's won the biggest races out there. I have a lot of drivers that I like, but I'm kind of careful to remind myself, don't jump on the bandwagon, to sort of speak.
Oh yeah.
So when you look back, Look at Young Money, Kyle Larson. What hasn't that guy won? But I
No
don't
doubt.
likes him just because he's the popular thing right now.
Oh yeah.
I like the drivers because they're good people. I've met Tony a couple of times, talked to him a couple of times. I think he's a genuinely good driver, as most of these drivers are. But when you look at who his influences are, when you look at who's helped shape his career, when you look at the races that he's won, when you look at his organization, he's just all around, not just on track, but even off track. He's my favorite driver personally.
And you see now where he's bought that drag racing program that's going to add to his program now too.
Yeah, I didn't see that one coming. I mean, what's his girlfriend's name? Leah Pruitt.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's really good, but you know, I think it's kind of cool. It's a crossover. I've noticed in my area, I don't know about nationwide, so I'm not going to speak on a national or regional, but just in my local area, there's been some contention between drag racers and circle track guys. And I appreciate both forms of racing.
Oh yeah,
They
definitely.
they both take an incredible amount of skill. You know, some of the drag racers, you know, they're like, oh, you get circle track guys, all you do is tear stuff up. Oh yes, because I can't wait to go out and spend $5,000 a week fixing my car. Like I really want to go out and tear it up. For me as a circle track guy, when you look the bang for your buck, when you go in a dragster, you're out there, you know, depending on class, anywhere from 3 seconds to 10 seconds on a quarter or whatever. I'm looking at seconds where we could be out here for 20 minutes. And at my level in an IMC sport mod, it can be some of these guys that are in drag cars running the 8th mile or the quarter mile. They can be in a lower tiered class. Like I'm in my sport mod, you know, being in a lower tiered class in dirt racing, but I can still appreciate what they're doing. I just like being in the car longer.
Yeah.
You know, and if anybody says, well, anybody can just go fast, you know, in a straight line. Okay. Well, trust me, Josh, have you ever been in a 1,000 horsepower Chevelle?
Nope,
Down
never have. I can honestly say never have.
I never have. So I am never, ever, until I am a perfect driver in every way, shape, or form, I am never going to badmouth another form of racing. I don't care if it's got 2 wheels, 6 wheels, 8 wheels, or 4 wheels. I don't badmouth motorsports. Motorsports has provided well for me, and you know, I've seen some really good drag races. I have seen some really good drag races. Those guys, those racers, those straight liners, they take very good care of their equipment. They're very proud of their equipment, just like we are in the circle track world. So I tell everybody before you knock it, you know, maybe look at it from their point of view and learn to appreciate it a little bit more. We all need to work together to keep this motorsports thing going, whether you're a circle track, road, straight liner, you know. I don't get too caught up in the, you know, that kind of stuff. I don't like drama. I like to be happy-go-lucky, la-di-da-di-da kind of person.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So, buddy,
and for the viewers out there, this is water, by the way. I'm thirsty.
So, buddy, when it comes to your racing, have you ever raced the Boon Super Nationals at all?
Yeah. I tend to do things a little bit differently. I'm probably not as smart as most of the circle track guys. We went to Boone. I had 2 cars. I had a 2012 Prowler. Dean Kester out of Hayes, Kansas builds them. I still believe he builds them. But I had a 2012 Prowler, brand new. I told the guy, you know, I'm going to take this Prowler to Boone. He's like, you're going to what? Yeah, I'm going to take the Boone Super Nationals, 900 race teams. I take a car to shake down and learn how to drive at Boone Super Nationals with a brand new car. Most people would go to your local track, local dirt track, maybe race against 20 cars. No, not Buddy Ray. Let's go race against 350 sport mods. Got my butt waxed pretty bad there, Boone, but it was a fun time. But yeah, I've raced Boone 3 times in a row. That is an incredible event. I think if you're a dirt racer, in my personal opinion, you should try it once or twice in your lifetime. I do know there's a big party scene. We've all heard about it. We've
Yep.
all seen the videos.
Oh yeah.
But typically, the guys that are in the big dance, whether it be a sport compact, a late model, a sport mod modified, any of the classes, the ones that I see in the big dance are usually the ones not getting drunk or
Yeah.
taking in any of the proclivities of that
Yeah.
atmosphere, so to speak. They take that stuff serious. But as I've gotten older, it's too big, too much for me.
Yeah.
I like to race, a nice little special. A week's racing just kind of wears me out, but that's me. I'm not saying, it's a lot of races. It's not my cup of tea anymore, but it's an awesome event, and any race fan should go see it at least once, because there's so much to do and so much to see. And IMCA, in my opinion, puts on the most impressive race show I've ever seen. 7 days of racing. Now you got the prelude to the Super Nationals, and that's bringing 400 cars. Then you got the 700 to 900 car. It's an amazing 7 or 8 days. But yeah, any driver should go race Super Nationals one time, and any race fan should go and watch at least one time.
Okay. So your home track, you said, is Eagle Raceway, right?
Well, it used to be. And nowadays, well, you're from what, Esterville, Iowa?
Yep. Esterville, Iowa. Yep.
So over in Esterville, it's right outside Des Moines, right?
We're north of Des Moines by about 4 hours. I'm up here by the Minnesota border.
Oh, up there. Okay. Minnesota.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my sister lives in Minnesota, so I always love saying Minnesota. So, when you go up there, I think Mason City's up there.
Oh yes. Yes.
Algona's up there.
Yep. Yep.
You have so many racetracks up there. How do you consider any one track, unless you're a diehard and you only race one track, which almost all the guys that I know race multiple tracks a year. Eagle started out being my weekly track in the Friday Night Flyers. But as time moved on, by the time, 2009 hit, when I'm in the crate full time, I was bouncing all over the tracks. Some people will say Eagle's my home track, 'cause that's where I started, but I've probably raced Denison, Iowa more.
Okay.
I've raced Harlan a lot more. I've raced I-80 a lot more. It's nothing against Eagle. It's just I don't know how life works out. Those are the places I've gone. I've raced 50, 60 different tracks in 8 states.
Wow.
So I've been all over the Midwest. I don't really consider anything a home track. Some right now, this year we won our first track championship. So a lot of people think Denison, Iowa is my home track. I don't consider any track a home track, because I can go to a million different tracks. I want to go race Denison tonight. Great. I'll go race Harlan tomorrow night. And maybe Sunday night, I'll go up to Raceway Park in Sioux City and race there. And then I think Algona or Mason City at one time used to race Sunday nights.
Yes. Mason City still does. Mason City still does. Yeah.
Yep. So if you saw me at Mason City every Sunday night and you didn't know I was from Council Bluffs, would you consider Mason City my home track?
Probably. Yeah, probably.
Probably. But when I lived down here in Council Bluffs, I think I counted one time. I had at one time, I think there was like 7 or 8 racetracks within an hour's distance of my house. I could go race. I consider all of them. I don't think a lot of us racers that drive multiple tracks, I don't think we necessarily have a home track anymore. I think we have our home region. Okay. I think that's a better analogy. Okay. You look at guys like Hunter Marriott, he's Midwest region. Jesse Sabe, Midwest region. There's so many of us. You look at your Tyler Erb, look at Turbo, Jonathan Davenport, Chris Ferguson. Those are your Southeast region. That's your Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee, Scott Bloom. Those are the regional drivers down there. I think we all have home regions. We all drive all over the U.S. Yeah. Some of these sport mods are going to go to Texas here in a couple months. So,
buddy, let's talk about the number 25. Where did that come from now?
So when I started racing in the Friday Night Flyers, I picked the number 94. I didn't know what number to pick. I picked 94 because it's the year I graduated, and it was actually 94R. I've had several numbers. So on the 94R, the R stood for rookie, which was required in the rules. I ran that for a number of years. And then we bought a craft car, which is what I got my first feature win in at an Eagle. And when I bought it from the guy, the number 12 was on it.
Okay.
I believe it was 12. Man, I can't remember. I think it was 12. So we just kept the number on there because the graphics were in good shape. We had a 24K because we bought a Sartison and it had 24K brand new graphics. And I'm not going to let the guy we bought it from, he spent probably $300 in graphics. So I didn't want to see $300 go to waste. So I was like, hey, can I run the number? He's like, I don't care. Sure. Well, now the 25, fast forward, it's 2009, 2010. We still had the 12 or whatever it was on the craft car. We were running that and we had a different car. Well, then with the holiday horsepower drive that I do right there, it's a Christmas charity for the Children's Hospital. And then I got to thinking, Christmas, December 25, and that's what this 25 stands for, is December 25th.
Okay,
with the
very cool.
Horsepower drive.
Very cool.
And we've always been 25. And I've always noticed when you look at whether it be NASCAR, the Lucas Oil late models, the SLMR series, your local racetracks, can you think, Josh, how many 25s do you know of up in your neighborhood?
There's a few. I'm not going to kid you. There is a few.
There's a lot of 25s. And when I threw my 25 in the name or on the car, I think I went out to ID Speedway and she's like, they're like a fourth of our feature is nothing but 25s. So we have like 25P, 25J, 25JK, number 25. There's literally quite a few 25s, and I never realized how popular that number is in racing. I was like,
wow,
I should have pulled some number like 87 and a half or something, really stand out, not 25.
Oh yes, definitely. So buddy, let's talk. Okay, what's the worst thing you've had happen to you as a race car driver? That
owning a race car financially, it hurts.
Okay. Okay.
No, racing's been just a huge blessing for me. But the worst thing, I used to walk around, I not wearing my glasses. I hate wearing my glasses in public. I'm very self-conscientious about them. And so being a race car driver, this would have been 2004 or 5. We were up at Blackbird Bend Speedway. And it's the first year I'm in a sport mod. Actually, it might have been 2003. They're not IMCA sanctioned, but they're running these B mods, as they call them. I wanted to be cool and not wear my glasses. Well, I can't see 10 feet in front of me when I don't have my glasses on. So you see where this is going. I put the helmet on. I have no glasses. And for those that wear glasses, they might know what I'm talking about. When you take your glasses off, things become blurry. Oh, yeah. When they become blurry, they grow in size just a little bit. So when I'd go into the corner, I'd be like, okay, there's a car to the right, there's a car to the left. I see a big brown area right in the middle of them. That's the racetrack. That's where I'm driving. And except we're talking the first year I'm ever in one of these cars here. So I spun around on the back straightaway at Blackbird Bend. I thought I did something really cool and did a 360, except when I spun around, I went back into turn 2 wide open towards the field. It was dry, slick, dusty, and I was stupid. I think everybody's done a bonehead move, that's really stupid. And it was ignorant and unsafe, but I hit a guy head on. knocked him out. And I remember I was balling. I pulled into the infield. Believe it or not, it didn't destroy either car. It just tore up some bumpers. But it knocked him out. They said he had a concussion. I thought I killed him. And from that moment on, I wore glasses. And then thanks to racing and having to wear glasses in the helmet, then I just got used to wearing glasses in the public. So now I wear my glasses everywhere, but I'm still conscientious about them. But I did that. Same racetrack, same year. This is on a funnier note. So there was a pond / marsh area on the back straightaway of Blackbird Bend. You can't see it. Well, I go into the corner wide open and I push up the track. And when I push up the track, I Dukes a hazard the car off the back straightaway down into some cattails. I am freaking out, screaming. I'm almost in tears. I think I'm going to die. So Brad Appleton's got the race director. He's got his headphones on. He comes down. He's standing next to the car. I'm like, get me out of here. I don't want to drown. I don't want to drown. I'm in the cattails. I'm going to drown. I knew for sure I was going to meet my maker that day. And Brad just kind of calmly looked at me and goes, bud, calm down. You're 30 yards from the water. You're in the middle of cattails. I'm like, oh, okay. I thought I was dying.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So I've had that. That was probably the worst thing, being in that wreck. I think the coolest thing outside of it's actually more humbling than winning a feature or a championship is when you as a driver gain the respect of not only those in your class, but other classes. That to me is really special. I would rather be the guy that people respect and never win anything versus the guy that wins everything and doesn't have an ounce of respect. I would rather, so when I go to the track and everybody's like, hey buddy Ray, how's it going? And they're asking my thoughts on stuff and whatnot. That means more to me than really anything.
So buddy, who do you have on your racing crew to help you work on the car?
Well, outside of the sponsors, Jody Mabin out of Bellevue, Nebraska, he's won a bunch of features in the sport compacts. He's pretty knowledgeable with the sport compacts. It's him and I that go up and down the road. My wife, she doesn't really go to the races a whole lot. I think she's only been to one, and that was championship night at Denison this year. She lets me after the interview here, I could go and be like, hey, we're going to go to Colorado and race tomorrow. She's going to be like, oh, see ya. Have fun. Go to the mountaintops. Yeah. She's that wife. She's awesome. She lets me do pretty much whatever I want when I want with whoever I want. My boss, he's Rich Streep, the owner of Joe's. He's been really instrumental. Once again, he's my biggest sponsor, but he was the one that taught me, I might be driving the car, but it takes a whole team of us to put this car on the truck. So Jody pit side, but Rich and my wife, Rachel Jones on the support side. And then Tracy Weber. Tracy Weber's been huge. Dennis Cook, he's been huge in helping me. Scott Carlson. These guys have all been support. They're not necessarily at the track level, but they might come over during the week and help me change gears or a transmission. I've got fusion done in my neck, so I can't lift a lot of heavy weight. So when I need stuff like that, those guys just being in the shop are every bit as important as the guys being at the racetrack. So I've got a really good, talented group behind me. And if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be where I'm at today.
So buddy, what do you like to do when you're not racing?
For being 46, going on 47, my wife will tell you I'm 87. So when I'm not racing, honestly, you can see me hanging out at Joe's Karting. I don't race the go-karts a whole lot. I just kind of like mingling with the crowd. Every now and then, if I have a young up-and-comer in racing, especially in the sport mod, these guys will reach out to me. Hey, bud, can you give me some pointers? Give me some tips, stuff like that. I like doing stuff like that now. And then in the off season, like right now, you're going to see me doing a whole lot of what I'm doing right here, drinking water, watching a little TV, and just glide in my rocking chair.
Okay.
I love it.
Okay.
I take it easier now. I'm not as rambunctious as I was when I was 21. When I was 21 and racing, Josh, you'd be like, slow down, shut up, slow down. Let me.
Wow. So, buddy, let's talk. What do you like to eat at the racetrack then?
It gets so hot in these cars. There's one thing I do that I just got me a new pit boss over there. I do like food. I like food a lot. The problem is that when we're at the racetrack and it's 95 to 100 degrees, I don't really eat a whole lot at the track until after the feature. And then, to be honest with you, Josh, it's whatever's not going to eat me first.
Okay.
I'll go to hot dogs to cheeseburgers. Actually, in some of the tracks, it's very specific. If I go to Boone Speedway for Super Nationals, it's the ribeye steak sandwiches. Best thing ever at a racetrack. If I go to Shelby County Speedway in Harlan, Iowa, it's the cheese curds. Those are, wow, those are amazing. There for a while, Crawford County Speedway, they had really good burgers, cheeseburgers. I-80 Speedway, this is a hidden gem. Joe Kaziski's smart on this. When they did the concession stand, they have a cookies barbecued pulled pork sandwich that they sell.
Ooh.
Name a track where you can go buy a pulled pork sandwich, Josh.
There's no way. No, I can't think of anyone.
Not only is this ain't the cheap pulled pork. This is the cookies, barbecue sauce flavored. It says cookies, pulled pork sandwich. Oh,
wow.
Man, I could eat 3 of those. It gets really expensive if I go to I-80. I mean, those are really, really good. When you go to Eagle Raceway's got really good food. To me, now, this is just my opinion for what it's worth. Eagle doesn't have anything that stands out, but overall, I think their food's top to bottom is probably the most consistent when it's really good. I-80's got the cookies pulled pork sandwich, but some of their other things are like, eh. But when you go to Eagle, everything's good at Eagle. Everything's good. It's just nothing really outshines anything else, but it's all really good.
So, buddy, what kind of racing chassis are you racing now?
So in a modified style car, we've raced, I believe Race Smart, Sartison, Dirtworks, Prowler. I think Craft. That's 5 chassis, and now we're in Razors. I've always wanted a Razor.
Okay.
And what's that?
I said okay. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. So we got a Razor back in 2015. We got a Razor, and we look back, and Travis Roth and the guys up there at Razor, Corey Dumper, Travis Roth, Lance Mitchell back in the day, Kyle Preiner. Those guys have been really instrumental in helping me get to where I am. And I don't know who is more excited about me winning features this year, or shocked or surprised, or whatever you want to call it, them or me. I remember I called Travis when I first got my Razor. I was like, hey, you know how you say we build champions? He goes, yeah. Well, I'm going to live on the other side of the tracks. And he goes, we'll get you a championship and some feature wins. And by God, they did it. So, and I wanted to point out Brian Ozentowski. I knew I was forgetting a name in there. Brian Ozentowski. He used to own the car. I bought it used from him last year. He came down and he put this thing on kill. Some people say it could be faster. For me, the car is faster than I am. The car's better than I am. But he came down, he scaled it. He told me, don't touch it. This was before we went to Bristol, and I haven't touched it. Literally, the left front tire is still the tire from Bristol when we raced Bristol back in March. And here it is, November, still on the car. I don't touch the car. If I have wanted to change something, I'll ask Brian, well, what do you think here? And he's like, why would you want to change it? Don't change it. You're running up front. Okay. So it is what it is, but
Okay.
I don't want to leave Brian Ozentowski out because he is a huge reason why I'm successful right along with everybody else.
Okay. Are you still looking for sponsors, buddy?
What's that?
Are you still looking for sponsors for your racing team?
Yes. We're always looking for sponsors. Last year we had some sponsors come forward. For one, I don't want to forget Cody Novak with Top Notch Lawn Care. He's been awesome. He's coming back this year. I think everybody's coming back this year. But yeah, if anybody wants to get a hold of me, they can find me on Facebook. I'm on Facebook a lot. I don't do much. I'm not really on Twitter. I don't Snapchat a whole lot because I don't know if anybody ever sees anything. I'm learning TikTok, but I'm on Facebook all the time on Messenger. So if you go to Facebook, you'll see this car.
Yeah.
On the profile picture. But yeah, they can find me there, or they can email me at buddyj@joeskarting.com. I've always had a really good success track record with my sponsors, because I know if it wasn't, for them and my partners, I wouldn't be racing. So I always try to make sure I treat everybody really good.
So, okay. So if there's anybody out there going to be looking for sponsors to help racing drivers out, get a hold of Buddy Ray Jones, because he'd appreciate the sponsors on his race cars. He gets further into his racing career. So Buddy, let's talk now about what do you have for safety in your race car to protect you from getting hurt?
The good Lord and a lot of luck.
Okay. Okay.
So we actually, Driven Race Gear, they make a really nice suit for us. It's a double layer single piece suit. Brad Sweet with Velocita, he hooked us up with a really nice helmet from Velocita. And then I have a Simpson Hybrid Simpson Hybrid Sport, which we had to use. It's basically like a Hans device. We were mandated, all the teams were, when we went to Bristol this year. Didn't really want to spend the money, but we had a sponsor help us out with that. And now I've gotten used to it and I wouldn't race without it. Drivers, I don't care if you're in a sport compact or a sprint car, get a Hans device, get a hybrid sport. It's going to save your life.
Oh, yeah.
I like the hybrid sport more than I do the actual Hans device that goes around your head.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, we've got some nice Velocita gloves, some really nice shoes from Velocita. Yeah, those are Velocita also. And then we have a really nice Ultra Shield containment seat. We have a collapsible steering shaft. So if we get in a big wreck, the shaft will actually collapse on itself. So that way I'm not getting speared or getting horned by my steering wheel.
Oh, yeah.
So we got a lot, and Razor just builds one hell of a car.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen things flipped and rolled and looks like a tank drove over them, and yet they're still racing and the drivers are safe. So we've got a lot of safety features this year.
Okay. So Buddy, do you have a nickname that they call you on the racetrack?
Are we going for R-rated or non-R?
Let's go non-R-rated. How's that?
I think every driver has been called everything under the book at some point in time or in the but PJ Pedersen up at Denison this year, he calls me the Sheriff Woody Ray. Instead of Buddy Ray, it's Woody Ray.
Okay. Okay.
And the fire suit, folks, looks just like that. You go to my Facebook, you can see it. It's got the badge, the blue jeans, everything, and even the other drivers all over the region call me Woody when they're like, "There's Woody." So it's always Woody Ray or the Sheriff.
So, Buddy, was there anything out there you'd like to say to the kids to help get them into a race car?
This year I talked to 5 or 6 people, and I told them, I was like, if you want to get a race car, get a second job. The cost of racing is going up. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It's expensive. You got to be prepared to spend a little bit of money. Start at the lower tier class. Some guys can afford to just go straight into super late models or go straight into sprint cars. If you can afford to do that, and that's what you want to do, it's your money. I can't tell you how to spend your money, but I would want to learn some speed, some car control, how to hold a line before I start going out and blowing $100,000 on a race hop.
True.
The other thing I tell people is, okay, so you want to go to sport mods. Okay. Don't know if that's necessarily a beginner class anymore. If you want to go to hobby stock, sport compact, so be it. But don't overdo it your first year. Why don't you race your car at one track only, and then the other night, so if you're racing on a Friday night, that Saturday night, the very next night, go crew for somebody on a sport compact that's got some experience. You will literally shorten your learning curve ×2 by doing that. I've seen guys just in the sport mods alone this year. They come out with a sport mod. They were in a sport compact one season, maybe 2 seasons. They go straight into sport mod and they're racing every night, changing everything on the car. I'm like, whoa, slow down. You moved up. That's already respect given. You moved up a class. You bettered yourself. Race the sport mod one night, but on the Friday night, go crew for someone on a sport mod that's got some experience and learn. If I'm going to go to an A mod, now I'm already in a sport mod, so an A mod, it'll have its curve also. But if I was to go to super late model, we go to Algona, Mason City, we're in a late model. I'm going to race a late model one night, but the other night, hey, can I get a hold of somebody in crew form on their late model and learn from that experience? Lean on those that have helped pave the way, and listen to what they're saying, going to tell you. And whatever you do, one of the things, me personally, that I tell people, if you're going to get in a car, don't waste our time. I've seen people that will come out, they'll get in a car for whatever, they're new, their car's not set up properly. I've been there. I've done stupid things on the track, but I've seen brand new people not take the sport seriously, drive through a field of cars, destroy 6 cars, and then they're done.
Oh,
and yeah, I've seen guys that have been racing for 20 years. They'll go out, they're minding their own business. A kid goes out, goes, oh, hey, I want to go and get in a sport mod, so I bought me $1,000 turnkey car. And then he goes out there, he thinks we're on the gas wide open on a dry slick track, and he just goes barreling it in and takes out 6 cars and destroys 3 of them.
Yep.
So $100,000 because you were too antsy to make a name for yourself, to put on a show. Calm down, and before you even do this, for the guys that are spending $100,000 in their operations, think of the money that they've got in it. I'm not saying that you have to spend $100,000, but don't, if you're going to get in a sport, take it serious.
Oh, yes.
At the end of the day, you got to take it serious. There's too much money on the line. It's a safety factor. I don't want to see anybody get hurt. I've hurt drivers. I don't, thank God that's 20 years ago, but I don't want to hurt drivers, and I don't want to see another driver get hurt. I've seen guys, like, well, I don't have a car as nice as yours, and everything on my car is bent. Well, if everything's on the car bent, why would you even want to go on the track? Why would you tell a veteran driver that everything on your car is bent?
True.
That makes no sense.
No.
Like, I would give you respect. Hell, I might even help you with some parts or a sponsorship. If you came to me and said, oh, well, I just need a spindle, or, I can't afford much. Can you give me is there a couple swedge tubes I can get to make sure the front end's fine? Yeah, I've given tires away. I've given rims away. I've given some stuff away over the years. I'm not opposed to helping a newbie, but these kids that come out in sport compacts or sport mod, hobby stock, whatever class, they come out here, they see the Jesse Sabines, the Jordan Grabowskis, the Nate Choders up in your area.
Yeah.
Yep. They see him win races and they're like, well, I'll just go get me a car. And they go barreling into the first corner and take out everybody. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Start in the back, if you can, for first few weeks start in the back. My son, Preston, he wants to get in the car. I've actually told him, if you ever get in one of these cars, the one thing I will require you to do is you will walk to every single person that I tell you to, which is just about everybody in the sport mod division. I don't care what track we're at. Walk up to the Nate Choders, walk up to the Isaac Malacotes, walk up to these guys. Hey, I'm so-and-so, I'm brand new. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm a rookie. So in that way, we know to watch out for you. I kind of wish IMCA and NASCAR, for these new drivers, Josh, on the back bumper, I wish they would do what NASCAR does and requires to put yellow bumpers on a car. I don't care what color your car is. I don't care what your motor is. But when we go to Algona, Mason City, up in that area, Spencer, Iowa, we go up in that area, and if I'm starting second row or third row and I have a rookie right in front of me, well, if I see a yellow bumper, I know to back off a little bit.
Yeah.
Us really good guys can go nose to tail, rack them and stack them and go. But we have a rookie up there, give him a yellow bumper. You know, if a guy's coming out of a stock car and going to a sport mod, or going from a sport mod to a light, I don't care if he's brand new, if he's changing classes, but at least for 30 days, give him a yellow bumper. I think that can help a lot of problems with today's newer drivers.
Oh yeah, yes. So with that being said, buddy, I'm gonna let you go for the night. I will call you and thank you in person for being on the racing show with me tonight. When the racing season begins next year, could I get you back on here again to give us a preview of your racing season?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'd be happy to, bud.
Okay. I will call you in just a little bit, buddy, to thank you in person then. So I'll let you step out and we'll be done for the night with you. So yeah.
All righty. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you.
How do you stop this thing?
Just a second here. Let me do a quick thing, and then I'll just get out of here altogether. How's that? So ladies and gentlemen, definitely, when this goes to YouTube, go press like, subscribe, and hit that notification button on the Josh Nolan Full Throttle Racing Show #1 on YouTube. And if you know of anybody drivers that want to be on this racing show, give me a shout out. Yeah, send me a message on text or phone. My phone number at 712-209-7138. Give me a call there. Or ladies and gentlemen, also our race promoter John McCorkle up in Fairmont, Minnesota, lost his house in a house fire on Friday. So if you want to help out with that, I will definitely, as far as replace the stuff that was lost in his house, I will definitely pass that along on my Facebook page. When this goes over to YouTube, I'll share it over my Facebook page along with the stuff how to help him out. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, have a good night. Catch you later on another episode of the Josh Nolan Full Throttle Racing Show #1 on YouTube. Alrighty, buddy. Here we go. Boom.